Right. Hey, folks. So sit down, relax. Today's topic is rep speed and how fast or slow should you be doing your reps. Now, this is going to be another in the series in the hypertrophy fundamentals. I want to give you some guidelines on how fast you should be training because it's important, right? We talk about sets, reps, we talk about routines, but actually, literally, how you should lift in the gym is important as well. And I think rep speed is something which is worth discussing. People want to know these things. At the moment, there is no consensus in the scientific community, in the literature about rep speed. And I think there's a reason for that. I think mostly it's because it hasn't really been studied that extensively. I think that's the main reason. Usually when you see these things which don't really have any clear recommendations, it's normally because within the studies they have done, they haven't really seen any clear associations either one way or the other, which is normally due to a lack of testing. I think the topic is nuanced because your rep speed is very much dependent on the load on the bar and the proximity to failure. So that's why some people prefer faster rep speeds, some people prefer slower rep speeds. And before we go on, just to remind you guys, I am specifically talking about hypertrophy here, not strength training, which is, especially in this field, a very different matter. So let's start with discussing slower rep speeds. Now, typically speaking, slower rep speeds will lend themselves much better to higher loads. So the closer you are to your 1 rep max, more than likely, the slower you're going to move the weight. Let's say you're doing a 1 set or 2 set to failure approach, and your first set is going to be in the 5 to 6 range, and it's your 5 to 6 rep max. Odds are, if you are proficient in lifting, okay, if you are actually a decently advanced lifter, you're probably going to be moving that pretty slow. Very few people are swinging around their 5 rep maxes as bodybuilders. Generally not the idea. So you're probably going to be hitting that a little bit slower, mostly because it's going to be safer to do and you can stay in control of the weight. I think another factor with regards to that is you're probably also going to be looking at emphasizing compound exercises with slower rep speeds because, again, you're using heavy weights. See how it's all connected? You're typically not going to be doing a 5 rep max on a tricep pushdown, right? So you get what I'm saying. This is why the topic is so nuanced because it depends on a range of different factors. So slow rep speeds, what I typically see people doing, what I see myself doing, and my experience is big compound exercises and weights which are more closer to your 1 rep max. You're more likely to be going a lot slower if you're hitting a top set of 5 or 6 of a squat or a bench or a deadlift or a large compound exercise. Now, you just think about it for a second. Think about which groups and which populations are doing that, because there aren't many. There aren't many bodybuilders who are using 5 to 6 rep maxes on a consistent basis. That's not really normal training unless you are perhaps a HIIT advocate. If you're a Mike Mensa guy or a Dorian Yates guy or in modern terms, a Jordan Peters kind of guy, because a lot of Jordan Peters stuff, he does the 2 sets approach. So if you are doing that type of approach, I would encourage you to slow things down. 1, it'll keep things safer, but 2, you'll get the most out of every rep and every set. Because if you're only doing 1 top set of an exercise, let's say you're only doing, 6 sets per body part per week, you may as well get the most out of them. So slow the weight down, really feel it. Now, let's go to the other extreme. Let's look at faster rep speeds. Now, typically speaking, faster rep speeds are linked to higher repetitions and higher volumes. So maybe something like a very typical high volume Arnold routine or Serge Nubret routine. Because a lot of times you'll look at old videos of Arnold lifting and Serge lifting, and you'll notice they're lifting a lot faster with a lot more body English, right? And you look at a guy like Jordan Peters lifting, and he's very slow, very controlled. Every rep looks like he's hanging on for dear life. And you think to yourselves, these are 2 completely different things. Like, what is the connection? Well, this is it. This is why rep speed is linked to load. So if your load is on the lighter end of the bodybuilding rep range and intensity range, which is anywhere from about 60 to 70% of 1 rep max right up to 100. So if you're in that kind of zone, then the guys who are on the lighter end, the weights will naturally move faster, move smoother. And also you're more than likely going to be able to use a bit more body English because you can muscle the weight around a little bit. Whereas the higher you get on the 1 rep max scale, the slower it's naturally going to move, because you want to stay in control. You don't want to be flinging around your 5 rep max and trying to get the most out of every rep as possible. So going back to the faster rep speeds, this is why I would say the fastest rep speeds are probably going to be seen by the guys who are using these ultra high volume routines. And that's why you see the difference in styles. What seems like two guys lifting completely different ways, it's explained by the load. That's how it's done. So that kind of maybe takes away some of the mystique and some of the seemingly very generic guidelines of rep speed doesn't matter, because that's what in the research, but actually it does. Slower speeds lend themselves to higher loads. Faster speeds lend themselves to lower loads. So now, in terms of trying to find the best speed for you, I think the majority of us are not on the extreme ends. Most of us really fall in the middle. And when you are in the middle, most of the time, your rep speed will look fairly normal, fairly natural. So in terms of guidance on how to ensure you're lifting in the right way with the right speed, I would recommend 2 things. Firstly, make sure you feel safe. You shouldn't feel like you're about to yank your joints out of position in the transition from the concentric to the eccentric. You shouldn't feel like it's going to damage you. If you are coming up from a bench press, and exerting that force to reverse the speed, you also shouldn't feel like at the bottom of a squat, you're going to tear your knees apart. You should be squatting and lifting and benching in a way which you feel safe and in control. Now, on that note, if you have got a history of aches and pains, injury concerns, and you're just trying to find a way of lifting which doesn't hurt you, and at the moment you lift at a fairly normal pace, which you don't really think about, well, try slowing it down. That'll probably feel safer. Slow it down, especially slow down the negative. Go to about 3 or 4 seconds on the way down, maybe 1 or 2 seconds on the way up, and see how that feels. More than likely, that will translate to less weight on the bar, and you'll be more in control of your lifting. So you're not going to get that jarring stress when you reach the end of a rep and you're pushing back up. So try it. Something to try just to increase the safety profile if you find yourself having constant aches and pains. Now, the second thing is you want to try and get the most out of every rep. Okay. Now, when you are lifting with a very high percentage of your 1 rep max, like a high load, a low volume type of routine, slow things down to get the most out of the rep, because you don't have many reps. Okay. You don't have much to do. You have maybe 1 or 2 sets per exercise, very few sets per body part. With a very, very heavy weight, slow it down to get the most out of it. So I would encourage you guys to find out what works for you and experiment a little bit with different exercises. But in terms of a general rule, heavier an exercise, slower the rep speed, lighter an exercise, faster the rep speed, up to a certain point. You never want to be lifting so fast that it's unsafe. So I would invite you guys to experiment with different exercises and really just look at honing in on each exercise and trying to find the best fit for you. Okay. All right, folks, I'm going to call it there. Pretty short video. Really one of those videos which encourages a lot of self-exploration. Explore what you like to do. And I find in general, most people are going to be halfway house. There'll be a reasonable speed of perhaps 2 or 3 seconds on the way down, about 1 or 2 seconds on the way up. Fine. I think there's possibly some merit to maybe going a little bit faster on the way up to build strength, but it's not massively necessary. Just be safe, be progressive, work hard, and every exercise will be slightly different. So you're going to have to do some thinking yourself and some experimentation yourself. It would be nice to hear from you guys. What are your ranges and how exactly have you thought about rep speed with regards to different exercises that you do? Bigger ones, smaller ones, different phases of training. I'd be interested to know. So in the meantime, there is a link in the description to get in touch about coaching. Let me help you with your goals, getting fit, getting jacked, getting on stage even. I do all that kind of stuff. So do get in touch and let's talk through some options. I have many ways that you can work with me. As well as that, there are free ways that you can show support, which is liking the video, subscribing if you haven't done so. So with that, I will call it there. Wish you guys all the best, and I'll speak to you in the next one.